Hello everyone, welcome to Simply Speaking, a podcast where I delve into topics surrounding life experiences and popular trends while analyzing human behavior. I'm your host, Fifi Hudson. I'll be uploading new episodes every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Let's get into it. Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode. So we're going to talk about understanding leadership. So leadership, to me anyways, is really all about taking charge of a task or situation, being responsible for a project or a group or organization, or setting an example for others to follow. Not everyone is a leader. Some people are natural born leaders, while others have to develop leadership skills. Some people may volunteer for positions in leadership, while others may jump in when necessary. Leadership is important to the function and flow of many facets within society, and today I'll address this topic by discussing what leadership is, why it's important, and ways I've taken part in leadership and what I've learned from it. So, how can one be a leader? How can somebody be a leader? Well, they gotta develop leadership skills, which I will discuss. They gotta have expertise and knowing how to pass on this knowledge. They have to be an example or set an example for others to follow, and they need to have a following. They need to have a group that they're in charge of, some sort of organization, project, task, situation, etc., etc. They have to be in charge of something. So some key leadership skills and traits that are important for effective leadership would be organization. So planning things well, staying on top of your tasks, whether you use a phone calendar or an agenda, but organizing yourself will make things a lot easier and reduce your stress and allow for the flow of work to be nice. Another thing is it's important to be honest, be open and truthful about what you're doing, what your vision is, what your goal is, what your mission is for your project, your group, your organization, task, situation, whatever it may be that you're in charge of. It's very important for a leader to also take initiative and be proactive. Like, you need to think ahead and you need to be willing to jump in and not just sit back and let other people decide what's it going to be for you. You need to jump in and take charge, take initiative, be proactive, think far ahead, anticipate what's needed. In addition to those, you need to listen to others' ideas and opinions and take them into consideration. Especially with the groups and projects and organizations, people have unique skill sets and ideas that they want to bring forth, and that'll be beneficial to the overall vision and mission and goal of what you're trying to achieve, so it's important to listen to them. On top of those, being responsible and accountable for your tasks, for your actions, and just for the overall organization, project, whatever it may be. Take ownership. Be responsible, be accountable. Like, yes, I'm owning this. If anything goes wrong, yes, it's on me because I'm the leader. Humility. Don't be full of yourself. Don't think highly of yourself because you are the leader. You're not better than anybody else on the team. You just have the skill sets to be able to lead the team to reach their goal. And be able to take criticism and feedback with grace. Humble yourself when somebody is talking to you. Don't seek praise all the time because, again, you're not better than anybody else. Everybody else is also putting in hard work. You need to recognize that as well. And be willing to take on the grunt work or roles that are not glamorized. So, yeah, sometimes there's little tasks and assignments that have fallen off the rocks, and sometimes the leader has to come in and pick up, or nobody else wants to do it. Sometimes as leader, you have to put your pride aside and just do it because you know you want your vision and your goal to be met. Another important thing for a leader to do is offer support to the team, to the organization, to the group. Create a safe space for them. Provide resources. Help those who are struggling because your team is only as strong as your weakest link. So really offering support to the other members of the team is really, really important. Create a healthy environment is also important and kind of ties into offering support in safe spaces. You need to allow for open and honest discussion. You need to allow for some vulnerability when it's necessary. it all depends on what you're dealing with, what you're handling. But yes, there's a time and a place, but at the end of the day, healthy environment is very important. Be knowledgeable. People will not follow you if you don't know what you're talking about. Develop some expertise in an area. Be skilled in at least one area. Find your niche. Before you go trying to lead people into something, you need to know what you're leading them into. Yeah, just have some knowledge, some expertise, because I can't take leaders seriously when they don't know anything about the project they're supposed to be leading on. It doesn't make sense. Exercise wisdom. You got to apply the knowledge and skills that you have and know how to handle different situations, both good and bad, easy and difficult. You got to adjust. You got to move wisely, move smart through each and every situation. Kindness, compassion, empathy, meeting people where they are at. Not everyone is going to perform at 110% like you or like some other members on the team. Some people might only give their 50. You got to meet them where they at and look at their strengths instead of badgering them on their weaknesses. And also recognize people can go through difficult situations and make the appropriate accommodations for them. And yeah, again, exercising grace, having some mercy. Furthermore, you got to be reasonable and realistic. Set realistic goals, expectations, tasks, and deadline. Don't say, I'm going to get 1,000 copies of this book published in 2 hours. Like, what? No, don't say that. I don't know. Just an example. Just be realistic in what you're trying to achieve and recognize people's limits, or the limitations of your teammates and the limitations of the situation. What is realistic to do and what is not realistic to do. And don't try to overexert people. Know their limits. Also, you got to be positive. Bring up the morale of the group. Again, remember the safe space and offering support. That's all important for the morale of the group. But just being optimistic and saying, yes, we can do it. And give credit where credit is due. Like, celebrate and praise the people who are actually putting in the work. The people you know are being lazy, don't praise them, don't celebrate them. That doesn't make any sense. Don't play favorites either. Motivate your team with positive affirmations. So you know that so-and-so is good with the reporting, keeping track of the records and all that stuff. Say, yes, I believe in you. I believe you can do this. You've done it so many times. You're really good at this. Just positive affirmations. And yeah, again, creating a safe space. All that is a part of being positive. And lastly, protecting your group, your organization, your team. Defend those who are falsely accused of stuff. Keep private information safe. Keep intellectual property safe. Build trust and don't break it. If somebody comes to you with some private information about themselves, personally or professionally, don't be spreading that around as a leader. Protect the individuals in the group and the group as a whole. So in terms of the types of leadership, we have the authoritarian leadership. So they have command and control over the whole group, and one person makes the important decisions, and they only really involve the team when it's necessary for specific tasks and whatnot. And they have a clear vision and end goal. And so countries where there's dictatorships, this would obviously take place. Sole proprietorship, so one business owner owns the whole business, and they might hire some employees here or there. This might also take place. And even in the family unit with parents, they need to have control over their kids, right? So yeah, it can be good and bad, depending on how you look at it and depending on the context of the situation. You have participative leadership, so everyone's ideas are welcome, allows for easy collaboration, gives others a chance to make decisions, and the leader may have the final say. This is like democracy, basically. So yeah, it happens in government, happens in business organizations, religious organizations, charitable organizations, even on group projects. Something as simple as that. Democracy, for sure. Then you have delegative leadership. So Members have the freedom to make decisions, and the leaders don't offer much guidance. They're more hands-off, and there's little to no interruption and involvement. So they're very, very hands-off. So sometimes this might be project managers or department managers. It depends on the situation. That's the first thing that came to mind for me. Then you have visionary leadership, which is very definite and distinct in their vision, their goals. They inspire, they motivate the team. It's effective when everybody agrees with the leader's vision. So leaders of movements and revolutions I would classify them as visionary leadership. So civil rights, Martin Luther King, and the many other brothers and sisters who paved the way, like they had a vision, they had an end goal. All the Black people who paved the way, they had their vision, their end goal, and they stood united because they wanted to end segregation. They wanted certain rights that they felt that they should have been afforded. So they were united in that sense. Then we have coaching leadership. So this would be coaches and religious leaders who would be involved in this category. And, well, in my opinion, they recognize everybody's strengths and they cultivate them while also addressing their weaknesses and improving them, and connect the skills to the goals and visions for the group. So on a sports team, the pitcher, you're going to hone in his skills. On the baseball team, the person who's really good at batting, you're going to hone in their skills. And at the end of the day, you're trying to use each individual's skills to win the game. You're going to cultivate them. Same thing with a band. You will cultivate the piano player's skills, the drummer's skills, the guitar player's skills, and allow it to blend together and to be harmonious for the betterment of the band. You have affiliative leadership, so it's relationship focused, more harmony and unity, helps foster and build relationships amongst the group, focuses on good collaboration and a positive atmosphere. So teachers cultivating this in students, parents cultivating this among siblings, religious leaders cultivating it amongst members of ministry, band leaders, again, directors in movies, a lot of the creative types. This definitely applies to the creative arts for sure. Pace-setting leadership sets a high example of productivity, like it sets a high productivity and performance and quality. So the tasks, the requirements, they're clearly defined, and the leaders will step in to complete the work if it's not being done, and they try to push the team to meet deadlines. So school projects, work projects, businesses. But yeah, this is probably me. This is probably me. I'm like that. I want things to be done on time. And if you're not doing it, I'm going to do it for you so we can get it done on time and get it done well. Commanding leadership. So where skills and knowledge are lacking in the team and they need to be told and directed on what to do and how to do it, they need clear structure, rules, and instructions that are set by the leader. Yeah, this applies anywhere. And I think when you're on a tight deadline, this can be very useful. So with work projects, businesses, organizations as a whole, school projects, it's important. And teachers and professors, they do this. They tell the students what to do, how to do it, so that when they get together in their group projects, it's clear. Everything's clear and concise. Second to last, we have transformational leadership. So there's the 4 I's, which are used to measure what this leader is. And so we have individualized consideration, intellectual stimulation, inspirational motivation, and idealized influence. So they encourage the team and empower them. And individuals have freedom and they use their unique skills. And this was developed by James McGregor Burns in 1978. So it's about like cultivating their skills and developing them and putting them in the right place. Ideally, that's definitely where I want to be as well. That's something I'm working on. And yeah, again, coaches, teachers, managers, they definitely do this sort of thing. And lastly, we have transactional leadership, which was developed by Max Weber and expanded on by Bernard Bass. And it uses the rewards and punishment system to motivate people. Members, they have to follow instructions, and leaders will monitor them closely. Parents, teachers, managers, coaches, again, same set of people. All kinds of people use this, all different kinds of contexts. I don't punish people or reward them. It's like, just do your job kind of thing. And if you're not, I'll do it. So again, I'm pace setting for sure. But yeah, those are the different types. So some areas where leadership is important, I've mentioned some of these already. So organizations, you have your religious groups, your charities, your business, unless you're doing the business completely by yourself, but usually not the case. Organizations, very important. They need leadership or else chaos will ensue. Projects, they need leadership or else chaos will ensue. You will not meet the project deadline. You will not get anything done. You will not fulfill the vision at all. Leadership is so important. Government, you need leadership. So that's what I'm going to get into. Communities, you have your ethnic groups, races of people, cultures. There needs to be clear leaders in those communities, or else the people will struggle, which is seen across the globe when there's not clear leadership in the community. The people, the children, the youth, they suffer. In terms of geographical communities, so your towns, your cities, your states, your provinces, your countries, again, they will collapse. Societies will fail. Systems will fail without clear leadership. And even in your online communities, in order for movements to happen, in order for causes to spring up, in order for these forums and platforms to spring up online, there has to be leaders in the space. They have to lead by example and set the tone for the rest of them to follow. Case in point, you have all these Instagram people modeling. There's a lot of people who were doing that years and years ago who set the tone. All the original YouTubers who did blogging or reaction videos or gaming videos, they set the tone for the rest of them to follow. People who did Facebook Lives and different shows through Facebook and YouTube, they set the tone for everybody else to follow. And you have communities like the Manosphere, unfortunately, or divestment, unfortunately, or you have the Black side or the Hispanic side or the Asian side of social media. You have people who are into finance and business. You have people who are into specialized skills, art, woodworking, car detailing, just some random stuff that I've seen. People like doing story times and vlogging and reactions and whatnot. But yeah, communities, they're important and they need leadership in order to thrive and to be sustained. So why is leadership important? For efficiency and reaching one's goals and achievements, keeping order, structure, and direction, and allows people to learn. Somebody can teach them, whether it's directly explain things to them or indirectly by leading through example. And you can acquire, inspire, and maintain or retain talent and skills amongst the groups when you have clear leadership and good leadership, because that leader will focus on trying to maximize the skills and develop the skills in each individual. So what have I learned from leadership? Well, let's delve into some of my experiences. So one of my earliest experiences with leadership in high school, I was a part of this group called Junior Achievement, which is a nonprofit organization that helps teach young people about entrepreneurship and business. And so I joined that group in high school, my final year, and I was a part of the Junior Achievement Company program, which is where a bunch of students got together and created a business and tried to make a profit and learned about the different steps in building a business. And so Originally, I didn't sign up to be the leader. I just wanted my one role and to stick to my one role. And that's what I was focused on doing. I think I was helping with sales and HR related stuff in the business. Those were my roles. I didn't really do much HR. I mostly just tried to sell, and I sold a good amount of units. So what we made in that business was gourmet cotton candy. So we made these really cool flavors. We did a lemon. It's been so long. We did maple. I think we might have done a mint. It was so long ago. But yeah, we did a bunch of cool flavors other than the standard, like, pink and blue flavors that everybody does. And what happened was the leader, and so the president of the group, she was extremely unreliable. And the vice presidents of the group were extremely unreliable. So guess what? And I was like, I don't want this group to fail. So I started taking people to task. And I was like, hey, when are you going to get this done? They were like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, so you're going to get this done next week, right? And they're like, yep, didn't do it. So guess what I did? I went and did it for them. That's why, again, I'm a pace setter for sure. I jump in. When something's not getting done, I'm going to do it because I want to meet the goals and the deadline. Well, sure enough, when it came to the end of the term, we made a profit. When it came to doing the final presentations reports, I pretty much did most of the work, at least 95% of it. Why? Because I knew we were presenting it in front of people who were important. We had our teachers and our coaches and our mentors who were there with us, and some new ones coming in who were learning, and they helped mentor us. And we also had some people in the community who were good with business, some successful young entrepreneurs who came in, and we wanted to make sure we impressed these people and not looked foolish. So, well, me especially. So I jumped in, and we made a profit. It worked out in the end. We were able to successfully close the business, and I learned a lot about myself, that I was capable of doing a lot. And at the end, they were like, so you want to go to the leadership conference? I was like, but then guess what? I went because they really wanted somebody to go. So I went, but I think I was suffering from PTSD from all the work I had to do. And so I got to the leadership conference, and I was chilling, and I was learning different things about leadership and entrepreneurship and networking and business. And it was really nice. I made some cool friends, which was nice. And it was a good experience. And I learned to push myself, put myself out there, to step up to the plate when people are not getting it together, and just doing the best I can do and pushing myself. And I realized I was capable of far more than I gave myself credit for. So my second experience that I want to talk about that I'm currently in is youth leadership. So I'm the youth leader at my church. And so I'm responsible for the younger kids, and I'm responsible for the older kids, so the teenagers. And it's been interesting so far. I'm learning a lot about myself, that I can do a lot of multitasking. I can get a lot of stuff done. I know how to plan and organize and coordinate with many different groups of people. And I've exercised quite a bit of patience. But I'm also learning to try to meet people where they're at and to play on their strengths. I'm definitely a pace-setting leader. So, if I see that you're not doing something, I'm going to jump in. But I've also been told that I need to take a step back and allow them to do it, which is what I'm trying to do. So, I'm learning. But I definitely try to get my teams, the leadership team's feedback, and try to figure out what their concerns are and what their interests are, so that we can be an effective team. And it's been interesting so far, and I think we're going to have a lot of cool stuff, and we just need to focus and to pray about it. And I think we're going to do a lot of really cool and fun things with the youth, so I'm excited about that. But I would say for things like this, especially with like when you're dealing with young kids, you have to have a lot of patience. And if you're dealing with young kids whose parents aren't fully committed, you have to have even more patience, and you have to, again, meet people where they're at. And if they can come to an event, great. If they can't come to an event, c'est la vie. But the point is you continue to invite them and you continue to encourage them so that they make it a point of getting their kids involved in the stuff that we're doing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've learned. I'm definitely a pace-setting leader for sure and for certain. I'm not sure what the rest of the group would say, but that's what I've learned about myself for sure. So to close, if you ever find yourself in leadership, try to practice the skills that are necessary to be an effective leader. Another important thing to know is not everyone is meant to be a leader, and that is okay. You just be an effective teammate instead. Support your leader in whatever they may need. There are many different types of leaders. Choose the right one for the right situation, but you have to be a good leader and an effective one. Thank you. This ends another episode of Simply Speaking. I'm your host, Fifi Hudson. Thank you all for listening. See you all soon.